This is the full moon report by Lunatic Astrology. I am your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and I do want to talk about one heck of a magical, kick-ass, super powerful full moon coming up on Monday, March the 9th. And this is going to happen at 19 degrees Virgo. And it's got the nature of somebody with a magic wand and a rolling pin, whoosh, that you can use as a sort of weapon against all that ails you, including, yes, that particular nasty virus going around the world, which I shall not name lest I be punished by the algorithm here on YouTube. So let's go into what's so great about this new moon and why it bodes well, not only for greater health and wellness in the long run, especially as we come towards the end of March and later April, but also for your own life. I'm going to go through all signs, so stay tuned for that, and you'll have the timestamps below, so you'll understand exactly what this will be in your life during the month ahead. So let's start off with the fact that I have my little cheat sheet here. I like to print out these things, and I want to talk about the fact that this particular full moon at 19 degrees of Virgo is opposite the sun, of course. That's what a full moon is, at 19 degrees of Pisces. And that sun is conjunct Neptune and conjunct the asteroid Circe. In fact, the sun is exactly conjunct Circe at 19 degrees. And let's talk about the meaning of that, not just for you in your own chart coming, but individually, but for the collective. Now, first of all, one of the things I like about this moon is that both the sun and the moon are falling in the bound, or the Egyptian term of Jupiter, which bodes well for some optimism and some hope, some faith, some goodness, some benefic goodness coming out of this moon. Now, yes, Jupiter does tend to blow things up and expand them, so we may see some greater expansion ongoing for this particular viral epidemic that we're experiencing around the world. But in the longer term, we've got some superpower energy coming from Circe. She's the one that would be wielding the, I don't have a magic wand, so I'm using a, a rolling pin here. Whew. Because I do have one, but I'm traveling right now, because she was one of the most amazing sorceresses of ancient mythology. She was a nymph. She was the daughter of Helios, although in some stories she was the daughter of Hecate, and her grandfather was Helios, the god of the sun. This particular full moon, the sun itself is at 19 degrees, which in the tarot is the archetypal card known as the sun in the Greater Arcana, the Major Arcana. So we have a lot of energy of like Helios, the sun god, pairing with his daughter or granddaughter, Circe, at the same degree during this moon. Now, why is Circe so important? Because we're going to get to Neptune as well. Because, you know, she was like kind of, I had to take notes from one astrologer online. I'm going to link you to his site because it was too funny. And I think it's hereticaloracles.com is the website. And he calls Circe manipulative, independent, feminist, dick-chopping magic. I just love that. And you know how we have Circe in the Game of Thrones, Cersei Lannister? She kind of represents the darker side of this sorceress, this enchantress of Greek mythology. But what she was known for, besides, for instance, casting spells and turning men, a herd of men, it was Odysseus's men, into swine. I mean, they were just a bunch of drunken louts anyway, enchanting Odysseus to become her lover, even though he was married to Penelope, and basically taming all the wild animals around her mansion on an island where she was isolated because she was exiled there for being so powerful, and the gods were a little bit wary of her. Despite all of that, she was famous for her healing potions and herbs. Now, I want to think about this in the context of a virus. Right now, what's going on is a lot of new knowledge is coming out about how vitamin C is an incredible natural way for you to heal and prevent getting ill, but also in Shanghai, just today, as I'm recording this, there was a big release about intravenous use of ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, to actually way improve the odds of critical cases recovering from this particular virus. So there's an example. I mean, because basically vitamin C comes from many things: rose hips, rose flower, rose hips, you know, citrus fruits, etc. So Circe was this goddess of potions, herbs, and medicinal wisdom and knowledge. And my feeling is that for the collective, what's going to happen with her, conjunct Helios, her father or grandfather, depending on the myth, during this full moon, with the moon in Virgo. Virgo is known for health and healing, is going to bode very well for a solution, some kind of medicinal solution, most likely connected to Mother Nature as opposed to some kind of pharmaceutical pharmaceutical that's going to give us a clear way to be preventative and perhaps to actually heal should we become ill with that viral infection. Now, the other thing is that Neptune is conjunct the sun at this time, and Neptune is kind of at the highest, the visionary imagination, the inspiration, the capacity for enlightenment, for spiritual awareness. We are all one, the oceanic drop in the, I'm a drop in the ocean of oneness, that kind of thing. Downside of Neptune is illusion, delusion, confusion, foggy, not seeing clearly. We shall see where this goes. I have a better feeling about it for the collective in the context of surely Neptune is the god that can hide what's really happening, because we're kind of lost in a rose-colored glass, this optimistic delusion fog of something. But he can also reveal something from the non-ordinary realms. This is why you see people who are, I do, because I see these people in my client base who are channelers, you know? They channel angels and other dimensional beings and ascended masters. Guess what planet they have? Hyper relevant to their natal chart, usually on the ascendant or in some relationship to their moon. Yes, it is the planet Neptune. So we could also experience some inspirational downloads and insights, each of us and collectively, during this 30 days that follows this powerful full moon. Now let's look at also, I've got my little chart here. I want to see what Hygeia is doing, the goddess of hygiene that's got us all using hand sanitizers and Clorox bleach and everything else to make sure, and don't touch your face and wear your mask. That's all very Hygeia. And during the time of this full moon, in the heavens, where is this baby hanging out? Oh, don't tell me I didn't print her up. I think I forgot to stick her in my chart. Alrighty. Hygeia, did I forget to put you in here? Well, I guess we're not meant to talk about hygiene with so much good news going on. I will use a little bit of her in the follow-up chart that I'm reading that I'll be doing in a few days to catch up on my last predictive video on the coronavirus with a 4-month timeline. Go back about 3 videos, you'll find it. It's got a lot of views because now, of course, it's a popular topic, but I think I posted that in January. So far, the timeline for what I've suggested is bearing out. I think I misrepresented a potential breakthrough a little early. I think I thought it was the 27th or 8th of February. It looks like it's been more like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th of March. And that breakthrough, I think, is where we're looking at that there's more and more reports coming out of Shanghai and China that vitamin C is actually an amazing remedy for this scary virus. So, I mean, that's a breakthrough. Sorry, pharmaceuticals, your vaccine may not be that needed. We shall see. In the meantime, consult your physician and do your own thing. This is not medical advice I'm giving you. Alrighty, let's talk about all signs. So we're going to start with Aries, which is so traditional. Maybe next time I'll start with Pisces. So for you Aries, sun, moon, and ascendants, this is going to be happening in your natal 12th house. So what that means is that this is a house of your imagination, your dreams at night. It's the house where your past lives are. It's a place of reverie. Now, if I think about Circe, kick-ass, you know, magic witch, enchantress there, conjunct Neptune, the god of enlightenment and higher vision and downloads, I'd say you Aries, sun, moon, and ascendants, particularly ascendant, should be paying attention to what you dream about at night, to your meditations, to any reveries you're having. You might download an amazing magical idea through that Neptune Circe on the sun during this moon. So you're really powered up in your 12th house. It's a good time to take a retreat, to spend more time alone, solace and solitude. You Aries can really benefit over the next month in your alone time. Or if you're thinking of taking a trip to a foreign land, make sure that trip is for something spiritual, meditative, contemplative, you know, not just hanging out and having tequila by the swimming pool. This is a time for your travel to be more pilgrimagey, in a sense of it's for a spiritual inclination, all right? And then you will benefit greatly from it that way. This is the house of hidden enemies, Aries, sun, moon, and ascendants. Just watch out. You know, I'm not suggesting that, but with Neptune there, you can self-deceive and try to see the good in somebody, and underneath it, you suspect that perhaps they're not so good for you. So if you're feeling that's true, you know, just be more vigilant. And of course, it's a hidden enemy, so how can you see them? But just know that it's very possible that you could run into some interference from somebody who does not have your back. So be more attentive and do not put your rose-colored glasses on about anybody this month. Alrighty. Taurus, you guys are having this energy happening in your natal 11th house. Now, your 11th house is a place in the chart where you get to experience the goodness of your friends. This is the opposite of the hidden enemies for the Aries. I mean, this is like benefactors, friends who help you. This is the alliance, a social tribe, both media, social online life, and larger groups and organizations that you belong to, as well as gains from your career, as well as hopes, wishes and dreams and pennies from heaven. It's one of the better chunks of the 12 pie slices. Now, your pie slice will be your own pie slice. It'll mean something if you have planets there, but in general, it's a good place to have this particular full moon conjunct Neptune, conjunct Circe, the Sorceress. I'm going to suggest while you are experiencing this month ahead, you Taurians are going to find you're in a bit of a bubble of grace. That, you know, things are flowing your way, things are going my way, despite the calamity around you, and that you find that you are benefiting greatly from friends. Now, because Neptune happens to be there, and it is a bit of a illusion when you're not clear, don't doubt your own sense maybe that one of your allies or friends may not be exactly what they seem. Be willing to look more squarely at who they really are and make choices to be in that friendship or not. This is not the love and romance house. This is the friendship house. Those friends may be male or female. I'm just suggesting suss them out. Make sure that you keep the good and let the old and rotten ones fall away. Circe, the Sorceress, is operating here, giving you the opportunity to have some enchanted luck and opportunity with great gains. And because this is pennies from heaven, if you have a hunch, you know, like you really want to play that slot machine, or maybe I should buy a lottery ticket today, during the month ahead, as of this March 9th moon, I would say you guys could do that. Play your hunches. You know, sometimes I go to the scratch and win tickets and I hold my hand over them and I feel for one that has a good vibe. And I can't count the times when I do that, I win. I do, I really do. As opposed to let the clerk pick one for me or just grab one with my eyesight, you know? So you guys have a little bit of enchanted luck during the moon ahead. All right, let's go on to Gemini. Gemini, you're having this experience in your 10th house of career. This is a good time for you to stretch into bigger dreams, you know, dream bigger, go home, that Neptune vibe, bigger ambition, but in the sense of being allied with your best hopes, wishes, and dreams, with the higher values of Neptune. So your career can really flourish in the month ahead after this moon. Circe, the enchantress, the sorceress, the witch, you know, the knowledge of the wisdom and potions and herbs is there as well. If you have a career that's in anything to do with medicine, nutrition, and herbs, this is going to really amp up your power. If it's just simply that you're going to access your intuition, that Circe, sorceress, inner knowing, and if you need to chop off a few dicks, you know, you can do that too. If you need to actually like kind of carve a path, you know, in order to make your career work, you go for it. You go for it. Seriously, that includes you guys. You know, this is not just for the women. Use that ballsy Circe Lannister / sorceress energy as well if you need it in your career. But Neptune's there. You know, that's a bit like the enlightenment guy watching over you. So try not to accumulate karma and do it with an awareness that we are all one. All right. Cancer, I want to tell you guys that this is going to be one of the more mystical times for you. The 9th house of God, soul, spiritual wisdom, and truth is activated with Circe the sorceress and beautiful Neptune hugging the sun on the other side. Helios getting his hugs from both Neptune and his daughter or granddaughter, depending on which myth you listen to. I kind of feel for you, Cancerians, that this feeling is going to be like a homecoming spiritually, that you may open up to a deeper level of mystical insight and truth. The 9th house is more like the direct experience of God, as you know, as opposed to, see, it does become the house of religion, you know, dogma and religion. That's kind of its shadow, honestly. You know, what it really is meant to be is like, you know, you're walking down the road and one day you bump into God and you have a conversion experience. You know, that's right out of the good old Bible, the New Testament of the Christian tradition. It's really an intimate experience of the divine. It's the gates of heaven energetically. It comes after the 8th house, which is a house of death. And where do you go? You go to the pearly gates of heaven after, and you get to meet God in person. So This for you guys, you Cancers, is basically a very mystical opening. Now, you may travel to a foreign land, which is what the ninth house represents, or you may meet a very enchanting sorceress type person from a foreign land, or Neptune can be about an enlightenment-y teacher, so you may meet a guru, or a guide, a prophet, or a seer, kind of that vibe, from a foreign land or on a trip to a foreign land. And lastly, but not least, the ninth house is higher education and book publishing. So it could be a good time to get that magical, mystical book that you've been wanting to write started, or if you're already writing it, to find somebody who's going to take it over, sort of, take it into the next level for you. And it could also be a time for higher education, kind of accelerating in a good way, using your intuition and your higher ideals that go with that Neptune value. Watch out for deceiving yourself as well in the area of higher education, maybe imagining that you're doing great when you're not, or glorifying or putting rose-colored glasses on about a teacher in your educational setting. So like, see clearly, sometimes Neptune equals fog. All right, moving on to Leo. Leo, 8th house energies are activated with the Sun, Neptune, and Circe in the 8th house of death and rebirth, sexual intimacy, the deep mysteries, the occult wisdom and truth that's hidden below the surface, secrets. So with Neptune in the house of secrets conjunct the Sun, conjunct Circe, that's kind of like a stew pot. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, that's like a witch's brew, really. Very sort of magical, but also kind of potent and dark. Circe, the sorceress here, is going to maybe, with Neptune's help, reveal a secret or uncover something hidden. And it may surprise you, but it also may bring you a greater sense of optimism, expansion, and growth with all that Jupiter energy that's in that moon, because that full moon is in the bound of Jupiter, and so is the Sun in the bound of Jupiter. In other words, there's a lot of Jupiter overlay here. So it may not be that this revealing energy in your 8th house is necessarily a bad thing. Now, the 8th house is money. It's not your money. It's money like tax rebates and loan money and insurance money and your partner's money or business partner money or investment money or royalty money, all that kind of money that isn't your daily earned income. And so in some ways, because it's the house of other people's money and Neptune is there, don't be deceived by other people's money, Leos, okay? Put your thinking cap on, get your clear glasses on, wipe down the smudge on your glasses. Don't get through foggy-eyed here. If you're dealing with something to do with money this month, be very vigilant. Use your Circe, Sorceress, Enchantress intuition. Get your, superpowers going. Do not be deceived. Deception is one of Neptune's dark sides. So be very clear. Now, Neptune can also bring you some money that comes through, the film industry or photography or videography, some of Neptune's wheelhouse, and so pay attention to that as well. All right, moving forward, I will now address you Virgos of the world and Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. I always try to remind people, look at all of them. So Sun, Moon, and Ascendant Virgo, this is going to happen for you guys in your natal 7th house of romance, love. Not like romantic dating, but like true love, partnership, marriage, long-term friendships. And if you work with clients, these are your clients. Like, the one-on-one work, massage therapist or a healer or a counselor. This is a house of other to you, relative to you. So these are your clients. What does it mean to have Neptune, Sun, and Circe all piled up there holding hands? It kind of suggests that number one, you need to really be able to see clearly who you're working with and dealing with, if it's a client or if it's your partner or a long-term relationship or friendship. Again, watch that you don't deceive yourself with that Neptune energy. But on the bright side, wow, with Neptune there, this could be like, especially if you're just new in a relationship and you've only started seeing each other, this could turn out to be the relationship of your dreams. This could be your dream partner. This could be a signature with that Sun there that you're waking up to see. There's real power in this relationship. There's something special. There's something special here. Now, like Neptune's in your 7th house for a long time. It's been giving you grief for a while, right? You probably have, you poor Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants, have been seeing people unclearly perhaps, but Neptune's crossing the halfway mark. He's done his shadow work. He's moving into more of a brighter expression where maybe you'll get to actually experience the dream partnership at this time instead of the delusion and illusion that the partner you're with is your dream partner. Circe the Sorceress is going to give you laser sharp intuition for working with anybody, whether you're trying to have a resolution of a problem with a long-standing friend, with your partner, or with a client. You're going to be able to use that intuition to speak the exact magic words needed to enhance, diffuse, glorify, reveal, whatever is needed in your one-on-one contacts. So go for it. I love that for you guys. Libra, air sign. You guys are having an interesting year ahead. I'll have to talk about that later, but let's get to this one. Right now, you're experiencing this energy in your 6th house of daily habits and routines for your health and wellness. What you eat, what you do for exercise. It's also the house of right livelihood when your job becomes a service to the world and you're in the stream of your dharma, and this is not a servitude and a slavery, but a joyful expression of who you are. And so in that sense, you may find something going on in your job or your workplace that's very interestingly going to harness that Circe, sorceress, enchantress part of you. Now, it could be that it outpictures as somebody like that in the workplace, giving you really good guidance, really good information that you really need to hear that's going to serve you to enhance your position in the workplace, or to have a better experience of the workplace, or if you're an employer, of your employees. I also think with that Neptune there that you may not see things as clearly as you like. You may want to really look closer, read the fine print on the dotted line. If you're given a promotion or a movement or a change in your workplace job status, look at that fine print, you Libras. Don't just jump. Make sure you have a lawyer on hand or a friend who's got a solid Virgo eye for things, and look at those details. Don't get overwhelmed with your hopes and dreams energy and the rose-colored glasses that Neptune can sometimes put on you, where you're wishing upon something without looking at what's really in front of you. So pay attention for that. On the other hand, Neptune can bring you a whoosh of great optimism, big hopes, and great movement towards actualizing something in the work, health, or routines that is going to greatly benefit you. It does rule the sea and water, and so if you are not a swimmer, or you're not walking on the ocean, walking on the edge of the ocean, doing anything that involves water for recreation or exercise could benefit you as well in the month ahead. Scorpio. Scorpio, this is all about your 5th house of romance. Oh my God, you guys. Having Neptune in the house of romance now for the last 7 years, and if you've been single, you've probably been kind of feeling like you haven't been able to find a romantic partner that really is the person for you. You may have struggled with seeing the best in people and not really seeing who they really are. Maybe some great disappointments in true love here for you guys in the last 7 years, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. However, now that Neptune's past its halfway mark, and in this, well, he's at 16, 17 degrees. And now that you're experiencing, he's at 18 degrees actually during this moon. And now that you're experiencing the Enchantress, the Sorceress, and the Sun in a pile up there together, inaugurating a 30-day cycle in which it's very likely that you might experience a refresh, reset in the area of love. Now, this is your creativity, this is your children, this is your pregnancies and childbirth area. This is speculation and luck. All of those themes are there for you. I feel it's kind of a very blessed time. It is the house of luck. The Sun and Moon are in the bound of Jupiter each, so there's a lot of optimism and luck inherent in that particular full moon already. I feel like for you guys, it's kind of a time for letting your taking the reins off your creativity. Jupiter is higher imagination, downloads from guides and angels. It's when our creativity takes on an extraordinary order of magnitude. So the woman J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series, has Neptune in her natal 10th house. That's an example, 10th house of career. That's an example of what it can look like when your Neptune is activated at its highest level of imagination. And you'll find Neptune's very active in the charts also of a lot of sci-fi and fantasy writers and magical realism writers. And of course for channelers as well. So you Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Risings, you can really harness a level of your creativity, your transcendent imagination, and your higher order of creativity with that Neptune in any artistic or creative pursuit in the month ahead. You're just going to kill it. You're going to make an amazing shift in that regard. And yeah, maybe have, even if you're in a relationship, a new refresh of the romance there. use your intuition as well. Circe the Sorceress Enchantress is there. Make sure that you tune in deeply to what needs to be said and spoken with a new beloved or an old beloved with which you're having a refresh this month. Sagittarius. So you guys are experiencing this energy in your natal fourth house of home. You know, this is the city you live in, the land you stand on, your ancestral line and roots. It's your parents. It is also the place of your home, your apartment, your house, where you live. It's the anchor. It's the darkest night of the chart, like it's the darkest night, part of night in the night sky, right? It's a pitch of night. Sometimes it's a dark night of the soul part of the house because of that. So it's kind of got a lot of depth here for you, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. And with Neptune there, the god of imagination, dreams, and reveries, and with this being already an underworld place, it is a time for you to go a little deeper than your jovial, you know, everything's all good, Sag energy. Always the optimist, always the hopeful one, always full of faith, you guys. What is it you need for yourself? Go a little deeper inward now and harness that intuitive Circe, sorceress, magical being that's conjunct the sun, that's conjunct Neptune, the god of higher imagination, and downloads and insights from your dreams at night, from your reveries and your meditations, your long walks. Really take time this month to go inward. You may be getting ready to make some changes with where you live, and this may be the beginning or the seeds of that awareness of where do you really want to live. Is it this house or that house? Is it this town or that town? Is it this country or that country? Okay, really, really let that sink in. Circe the Sorceress could outpicture as a witchy person that comes into your life, a shaman, a healer, a helper, because it is a bit of a dark night energy. So you may invite in somebody this month, like that is a guide for your underworld journey, that is a Obi-Wan Kenobi or a Yoda or a sorceress of some sort that wants to guide you through the dark forest of this month ahead to come to some luminous new understanding about who you are in the context of your family, what you grew up with, and where you want to live, and what true foundations you want to build in your life going forward. It's a big month, yeah. It's one of the kentrons. It's one of the cardinal points in the chart that you're traveling through, the fourth house. Alrighty. Let's go on. Capricorn. You guys are experiencing the energy in your natal third house. I know, I had to hesitate there. Yay. So this is your friends, the local crew, the buds you hang out with. This is your neighborhood. This is your siblings, your cousins, and their, aunts, extended family. This is the house of writing, speaking, teaching, education, communication, elementary school or lower education, short-term workshops and seminars. It's a very communicating energy house. It's also an enterprising and entrepreneurial part of the chart. So all of those themes are up for you guys. You Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants. Pay attention to how Neptune, the god of higher imagination and downloading insights from beyond this realm, how that plays a role in some of those themes. If you're inclined to take short-term trips and travel this month, this is a part of the chart where that happens. Like get in your car, take a hopper flight somewhere. You would be well served to do that, especially if that travel has any educational features where you're going to learn something by traveling, or networking and social networking with people in a similar area of career perhaps. Those could be very beneficial in the month ahead. Of course, wash your hands, wear your mask if you're on an airplane, but be safe. But if travel is called for, it could be very good for you. Now Neptune, and kind of the delusional god, when things aren't like seen clearly, is here too. So, this is a house of siblings as well. Is there some sibling you're dealing with, Capricorns, that you have who has an alcohol or addiction problem? A couple of Neptune's factors that you really have to deal something up with them this month. Play hardball or use a little of your Circe sorceress intuition and your your rolling pin. Because, she kind of waves her magic wand, Circe the sorceress, and that's how she created a herd of swine from a bunch of Odysseus's soldiers and men. Yeah, I just about broke something when I threw the rolling pin out. Okay, so consider that you can use some real hardball energy as well. With your intuition running strong, use some hard-ass magic if you need to extricate yourself from friendships or sibling or related things like cousins and aunts that just don't serve you. And again, this is a big broad swath of stuff, but if you're in an entrepreneurial Capricorn, and this is an entrepreneurial merchandising marketing house, then you can also do a lot with that Neptune energy. Higher vision, higher imagination. This is the god of the photography industry, the god of the film and video industry. You know, we wouldn't have Netflix if it wasn't for Neptune. So those themes are very good for you in the month ahead. And if you're involved in any activity that involves those things that Neptune is responsible for that I just named, you can use your higher visionary imagination in order to capitalize on Neptune's blessing on this full moon, and will roll out for the next 30 days after the moon on March the 9th. Aquarius, this is me. I'm an Aquarius ascendant, so Aquarius ascendant, sun and moon. You guys are having a second house of earned income, self-worth, self-value, the voice, what we speak, what we say. This is the second house. I'm really kind of laughing at this for me. I mean, Neptune's been in my second house now for 7 years or so, asking me to align my earnings and income with my spiritual truth and values in a way that I find authentic and sustainable and integral. So this has been my 7 or 8 year journey so far, and I've got more to go, but that's been really interesting. So for all of you sun, moon, and risings of the Aquarian nature, Neptune's trying to overhaul for a long time the way you make money and how you see your worth in regards to resources and earned income and possessions, and also the voice, what you have to say, what goes through your mouth and throat, and also what comes into it. This is what things we ingest. With Neptune in the house of things we ingest, it's easy to be addicted to that sugary snack, that chocolate, that glass of wine, that beer, etc., because Neptune is a god that can create escapism and addiction. So I've been definitely trying to continually say, I'm going to go off wine or cut back on wine because I love wine. And, I've been really challenged with that one particular theme, really working on it to find my balance point with that. Maybe my balance point is nothing. It's an all or nothing story. I don't know. So us as Aquarians are going through a lot there. Now, the sun is conjunct in the full moon Circe the Sorceress along with Neptune. They're all together singing a song, a trio, of music together. So I would say in the terms of earned income for us Aquarian energy, sun, moon, and ascendant, we can really download something. One of Neptune's big features, talking to ascended masters and angels. And funny enough, I'm channeling light language lately, so this is exactly where I'm at. We can really download some very interesting insight about ways to earn income and value in alignment with the values of unconditional love, enlightenment, we are one, Neptune, along with the power of Circe, the sorceress, wielding her magic wand, or when she needs it, her rolling pin. I still love what that guy said. He said, Circe, manipulation, independence, feminism, dick chopping, and magic. It just made me laugh. But we need to do that too, Aquarius, in regards to earned income this month. So do we need to be independent? I don't know about manipulative. Dick chopping and magic are kind of interesting. Now, that's a phrase that is kind of funny, but I think it applies to the idea that where do you need to make some serious, Mars-like severing in areas of earned income this month. If you have a job and you hate your job, and that's how you're earning your income, Aquarian energy people here, maybe it's time to cut out, right? Leave, sever, bludgeon the job, with your rolling pin. This is self-worth. So love yourself. Neptune here has been a challenge. We see ourselves with Neptune's fog sometimes, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for being good enough and being actually more than good enough, just being perfectly who we are. And one of the lessons of Neptune transiting the second house for all Aquarius risings is that journey of self-love and self-acceptance. All right, let's move on to Pisces. So you guys, you're actually going to experience this energy in your first house of identity. This is huge for you. This is really huge. This is where you're going to have to come to terms at a very deep level with how magical you are, just by your very being. And you're going to have to treat your body with a little more TLC too, because Neptune, the god of illusion and addiction, could be, giving you a problem there for the last few years. He's also the god of medicines that are we overreact to them, like people with strong Neptune on the ascendant tend to take one pill as prescribed and have a bad reaction. So your sensitivity to medications for all of you Pisces ascendants has been a tough one lately for the last 7 years. Now, I feel for you guys that this is Circe the sorceress with her kick-ass energy, you know, Neptune, the god of enlightenment and oneness and higher imagination, you know, flanking that sun on the full moon and the bound of Jupiter, that this is going to open up some new vistas for you. And it's not so much about what you do, but who you are. I really want you to own this magic of who you are. Now, with Neptune at 18 degrees of the sign of Pisces, of course, it's going to apply a little bit more tightly to people who have their ascendant within 5 or 6 degrees of either side of the 18 degrees, but it applies to the whole sign. So your body and your physical well-being is a part of the ascendant, not just your emotional and psychological. It is the avatar. If this was a simulation and you had to pick a character, right? This is the character of you, the avatar of you, your ascendant. So it is a form as well. So take care of your body. You know, Neptune's there with the sun and Circe. What intuitive ways do you tune into that you need to really love this up a bit more? Hot bath, warm salt water, Neptune, Circe, potions, herbs, and medicines, the goddess of all of those things. Do you need to take like a witch's brew of a concoction right now that's going to really support you, a nutritional concoction, a medicinal herbal concoction? Tune in. Something like that is trying to show up for you. You're going to be seen as a bit more magical by others because this is how people see you by virtue of your ascendant. So you'll be seen as very, very much the superpower, super witch with the sun perfectly conjunct Circe. So people are going to come to you for prophecy, seership, and magic in the month ahead. If you're in that kind of field, like you're a counselor, you're a channeler, you're a astrologer, tarot card reader, psychic, etc., it's going to be a good month. You're going to be like sought out for your intuitive, laser sharp wisdom. Okay? Thank you for listening. Go below to check out my website, Lunatic Astrology, and you can book a reading. I'm putting out my St. Patrick's Day sale coming up, but I'm going to put it up down there for you guys, and you can grab it before I announce it to the rest of the world, like on my email list, and that is Harness Your Lucky Stars, and it's normally like, I think $150 for the time with me, the hour. We look at all the ways that you can enhance and fortify good fortune and luck and open doors of opportunity in your life using your natal chart and what the wisdom of it speaks to you about how self-made opportunity can happen, as well as just some of your karmic lucky breaks that you're likely to have, both in space and time, but also natally as a ongoing theme in your life. If you think, oh, I've never had any luck, good, well, maybe you're just getting ready for it. Maybe one of your karmic knots is unwinding when we take a look at the zodiacal release of the Lot of Fortune. So that is going to be $97. Grab it down below. I'm not doing a lot of them because it is a St. Patrick's Day sale for March 17th, so I'll probably only limit that to maybe 20 spaces. I'm really doing a lot of other things this month, so you might want to grab it before I close the doors to that. At $97, it's pretty darn cheap, and I put my heart and soul in those readings with you, and I really would love to serve you. If you want a psychic reading with a tarot reader, a Lenormand tarot reader who's a pure clairvoyant and super Circe witch, she's got some amazing, like $25 for one question readings, and she's really insightful. She's my sister Cindy Lee, and her website's blindfaithreadings.com because she's blind, and her website is also below. I always share her with my people. She's my sister, and I love her dearly, and she's really, really good. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications. Let me know what you think. I welcome your comments. I really do. I try to comment back as well. Thank you so much. Mwah.